We're of Mice and Men, and this is our track by track of our new album, Earthandsky. The album opens with a song called Gravedancer. This song is intentionally placed at the beginning of the album. We're always kind of experimenting with like all different kinds of sonics and sounds and samples and all kinds of stuff. So as the instrumental of this song came, it started with the intro riff on the guitar, and the song kind of developed into the sound that you hear now. It's a bowed sitar, or a sitar played with a bow, and we're always like, it's such a heavy song. It has so much. It's kind of unlike anything we've ever done before, and we kind of wanted it to be the statement piece of the intro to the album. We felt like it was important for people to hear some things that they sounds familiar, but maybe they haven't heard from us or something like that. Like, this album is all about challenging ourselves and making kick-ass metal music in the process. And Aaron's going to talk a little bit about the lyrics.
Lyrically, that song is kind of about how we, as a society and also kind of at a personal level, we tend to fall victim, almost like in a hypnotic state to repetitive self-destructive behaviors. And so, that song is very grinding. Like, that song feels like a machine kind of just grinding. So that was kind of the vibe for that one.
Next song on the album is As We Suffocate. And this instrumental came about pretty early in the process. And it's kind of it's a song that I feel like really encapsulates a lot of what Of Mice and Men is, whereas Gravedancer is like kind of like a very polarizing, dark, and incredibly heavy song. And As We Suffocate is still a very heavy song, but there's a lot of melody to it. And it looks like
we have a yellow jacket.
We have a yellow jacket on the yellow flowers that we're holding. Perfect. And lost my train of thought. Must be the B. As We Suffocate. There's a lot of really sick guitar licks, a lot of really fun, drumming on this one, and I feel like you can really hear in Aaron's voice in the bridge on this one. You can feel like the pain of kind of what he's talking about, and kind of like what how the song and what the meaning comes from, and he'll elaborate a little bit on that.
That expands kind of on the off of the back of the first song, in that, one thing too as a society that I think we addressed on this record is people's inability to communicate with one another, and for people to see people in certain destructive behaviors but not be able to do anything about it, or have that perception that you can't do anything about it.
Lots of really powerful lyrics in that one. Next one is Taste of Regret. Here we have a
barn burner.
What we like to call a barn burner, a classic of Mice, just ripping riffer friggin' out of the gates. Let's go, and this was a really fun song to record, and with this album we really tried to push ourselves to make bump up the tempos, have more fun, like make nastier riffs, like have more fun playing the drums. This is one of the songs that I really feel like, as a drummer personally, this was a lot of fun to record, and working with Josh Wilbur in this process, who has recorded some of the best metal drummers of all time. I'm talking, he's done Lamb of God, he's done Gojira, he's done Trivium. The list, it goes on. Soulfly, like, it's crazy. Like, this guy knows sick drumming, he knows sick riffs, he knows sick metal, and this song really got us all really excited, and it was really fun. And Aaron can talk a little bit about the lyrics on this one too.
The song is kind of, it's pretty straightforward. It's more or less, I think, the older that we all get, the more we understand like when to pick and choose our battles. So it's about biting your tongue when it's not the right time to unleash some shit.
Yeah, like having restraint is important, because that's growth, and that's not letting somebody get the best of you, and in that sense it's kind of about just kind of biting your tongue and kind of holding back. The next song on the album, Mushroom Cloud. This one is throwing down super hard. We kind of have so much heaviness on this album that we really wanted to push the boundaries of what we've done in the past. And Mushroom Cloud started as an instrumental, and it kind of took a little bit of time for the lyrics to happen because there's a lot of I guess similar but different vibes in the song. There's like a tempo change at the end, and there's kind of like a couple movements in it, I guess. And I think the song really didn't take shape until Aaron put the lyrics to it, and I'll never forget when I heard it. I like lost myself in the song, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even expect what he came up with, and it's so perfect for the song. And maybe talk a little bit about the lyrics. And
yeah, it is all about losing your mind, and I think that song felt that way. And it wasn't until several nights of bad sleep and lots of stress that I just kind of had my own snapping moment and just wrote the song, like wrote the lyrics real quick, like stream of consciousness, and then we recorded it the next day.
And that's kind of how it works. Is like for our band, we really inspiration comes at any moment. Like we comment on our life, we comment on our world, we comment on how we see things, and a lot of people like use journals or something like that. Like we use journals, we use computers, we use everything. Like we write songs for that. And as Mushroom Cloud took shape, and Aaron really personified with it, it's such a friggin' powerful song now, and it's huge live too. So come out and get in the pit for that one for sure. All right, next song. Ooh, Pieces. Okay, this song's a banger, and I know Aaron has. He's kind of at odds at this chorus, even still. But like arguably, like this song.
It's the beauty of music.
It's like this song to me is one of my favorite songs on the album, just because of seeing how it blossoms when the chorus hits. Like it began as an instrumental. It almost didn't make the album. It was kind of like we weren't really sure if it fit, but the heaviness of the intro riff and just kind of the feeling that it gave us in like the verses and everything, it's so aggressive and it's so driving, and it's so there's so much forward momentum in that song that then when the chorus hits and it just kind of sits back and Aaron just cuts loose with his incredible vocals, like it comes out of nowhere. Like when he recorded it and when we first heard it, it totally blossomed when his vocals got put on it, and I was like, oh my God, this is like so fire. And he can talk a little bit about how he kind of feels about it too.
I still hate the chorus. I wanted the chord progression to be like backwards, but we ended up settling on it, and that's like the beauty of music, is like it's an ever evolving kind of thing, you know. And I think lyrically that song is about whether it's like I think for me at the time I was visualizing something that kind of ties into a few of the songs, like The Mountain and As We Suffocate and Gravedancer, like some of the same thematic elements. And then I kind of realized in retrospect that I think I was writing about like self-doubt, and like self-doubt spreads and like you'll start losing yourself. So I think that that's what the song is about.
When one piece falls, it seems like everything continues to fall around it. And there's that bridge comes in so hard, and then the guitar solo and stuff. Like, this song is super powerful. Not to mention love that. Love a little drum moment like that. All right, next one. I have the album on my phone right now. Like, you could hear it too. I don't know. The next one's Deceiver, and this song is definitely inspired by festival metal. Just raw freaking rockin' metal riff. Dun, 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 dun. Like
crowd mover.
Yeah, crowd mover. Like just bang your head, have a good time. Aaron delivers an amazing vocal performance on this one too. This one's, for as heavy of a song it is, we kind of wanted to have that like dichotomy of having a very powerful and like soaring vocals over it. Kind of, I mean, not dissimilar to like Iron Maiden or something like that. You know what I mean? Like we get so inspired by all these bands that we get to be on tour with out on the festival circuit. And I think he can talk a little bit about the lyrics for sure, but sonically in this song, this is just exactly what we said. This is a crowd mover. This one's for festivals. This one's for everyone to bang their heads, fist pump, do whatever, go crazy. Like this is it's a super heavy one that has, songs can be heavy and still have soaring vocals, and I think that's an incredible asset that Mice and Men has always kind of kept in our bag of tricks, I guess.
Yeah, the song is, lyrically, it's kind of it's about people who like feeding other people bullshit, or people who like lying, or people who are deceitful, and how, if you stir the shit pot, eventually you're going to have to lick the spoon, And like, I think it was just kind of maybe social commentary. I don't know. I don't really know what inspired it, but it was inspired in the moment.
For sure. And that's the cool thing about us being able to make music, and like we just kind of comment on things that we perceive and how we get through life. And this is our commentary on our life and what we experience, and hopefully it connects with somebody else, and if not, then that's fine too, because we just kind of need to let it out in certain ways, and we don't fully understand all the time why, but sometimes it just kind of happens that way. Let's see what's next. Oh, Earthandsky, obvi, the classic album track name, song name, album name. This song is started with a riff. We had this song actually started as it started with the riff, but we had a different groove behind it. And it was definitely on like a more laid back thing. And while we were like working on the song, we were kind of like, it kind of had like a little bit of a Deftones vibe, which it does not have now. I don't think, at least. But it was really cool, like in the process. This was a song that developed in the studio, that us working with Josh, kind of like him challenging ideas, throwing ideas our way, kind of being like, hey, try this, hey, try that. And some of us were like, yeah, that's sick. And others were like, I don't know about that. And it's this song, like really the way that it took shape and the way that it is in its final form is really, really cool. And Aaron can talk a little bit about the lyrics and about his side of the process.
That song is about resilience. It's about understanding that even insurmountable or seemingly insurmountable problems in the grand scheme of things are small in regards to your life when you look at it in terms of the size of the earth in relation to the sky, which is the universe, which is space and everything. So I think that song's about resilience.
Next up, we have The Mountain. Okay. This song, atrociously heavy.
It's a trip.
Incredible. This song is...
It's a journey.
And Aaron can just take it away, dude. I can't even... This song is so powerful.
The song is kind of about how, we as people tend to create false identities for ourselves as a way of coping with the world that we live in, because it's not always easy to be yourself. I think, though, that the more often you do that, you can end up getting lost in that. And so the idea of a mountain, of being somebody that is disconnected, because, if you're an empathetic person, if you feel for people, then the world is a terribly hard place to live in, because there's always injustice, there's always sadness, there's always pain, And I think that people disconnect by kind of creating this false, calloused version of themselves, and you can lose yourself in that. So the song is kind of using the imagery of somebody who is literally turning into a mountain. And so I think, it's definitely one of the heaviest songs on the record. It's definitely probably one of the more adventurous songs. It's a trip.
Yeah, it's definitely a powerful moment on the record too, and that was one of the earliest songs that we had kind of like had for the album, and then we knew that we have to top this, and so it was just kind of like getting all those ideas and getting everything, and not to mention like Mice and Men writes lyrically heavy songs too, like and a track like The Mountain is, I feel like that's a pinnacle. That's one of the most classic of my songs that I think you could think of is really like talking about something like that, and invest so much self-investment in something that is worth nothing is like, we live in an era where that is so rampant, and we all have to realize that we cannot do that. And we love commenting on stuff like that, and because we see it and we're human and we all know, we all go through it. So definitely banger. All right, next up. Ooh, Meltdown. This one's kind of vintage. This one has definitely a vintage feel. As I said, a Mice Man is like always writing, and so we have a stockpile of old songs, and we got stockpiles of songs that don't make albums, and this one kind of came together as like an old idea met with a ton of new ideas.
Lazarus. Yeah. Just raised from the dead.
Yeah, no, seriously, like I don't even know how far back one of the riffs goes, but it's early, and then bringing it into the studio, having the collaborative process of working with Josh Wilbur and all of us working together in a comfortable environment. We recorded this album basically like at a studio 10 minutes away from where we all live. So we got to record it in our backyard. We got to go home every night. We got to hang out, be in the sun, play basketball, skateboard, do whatever, just chill out. And this song really brought life because it has such an exciting and a forward momentum feeling. And then I don't even think the lyrics didn't happen until the studio too. So it was just a riff that got resuscitated from the dead, and it turned into this incredibly like technical and fast song that's like super fun to play. And Aaron can talk a little bit about the lyrics too.
That song, I think it represents, again, kind of a different look on people's seemingly inability to communicate nowadays, like effectively. And so I think one of the commonalities that's kind of unfortunate is that we as a society really like to see people fail, and we like engaging in that, and there's the solidarity in just seeing somebody completely melt down, and we go, either you laugh at their expense or you find some sort of common ground with them. But like, it's kind of like the road accident that you can't look away from. So I think that's kind of what that's about. What it's about.
Next up. Linger. Tune. Straight up. That bridge, and there's no words to put. I can't put any words to it because the way that Aaron performs the bridge, what this song means to us, I feel like on every album and on every day in our life, like there's something that happens that has to deal with loss, and there's pain and there's hurt, and this song musically kind of takes you through this journey. And Aaron can really talk about the lyrics. This song is so powerful, and again, another classic of Mice and Men song where the feeling of pain and these things are feeling so insurmountable, and being able to pair that with music and heaviness in music, and also like fluidity of motion of the way that the song kind of transcends as it goes. It's kind of like it's just like it says it's in waves, and it works kind of like an ocean, and Aaron can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that we'd lost, be it friends or family, fellow musicians, I think the older you get, the kind of more you feel that loss, like in a very visceral, like in your bones kind of way. And I think that the greatest thing we can do as musicians, like the best service we can do to our peers and to our friends and family, is honoring the fact that pain doesn't go away. It's one thing to talk about healing. It's one thing to talk about being resilient. It's another thing to be honest in saying that certain pain just doesn't go away. Certain pain will always be there, will always linger. And I think that the more you can kind of talk about that, the less ostracized people who are feeling that pain on a consistent basis will feel, so they can feel more understood.
Powerful song, seriously. Dive right into that one. Last song on the album, How to Survive. This was basically the opening statement that we made as the first single to release for this album, and at the same time, it's another classic thrashy. Right out of the gates, there was no clean vocals or anything like that. That actually got a lot of our fans talking like, "Oh, is there going to be clean vocals or blah blah blah?" Which is funny for us because, like, dude, we just make songs. Like, if there,
Some
where's the
songs
part? Where's
need
the part?
singing,
Yeah,
some songs don't.
Exactly. Like, where was the part where you could have thought of singing? You know what I mean? Like, it's such an aggressive song, and it really does provide like a really cool closing statement to the album too, and lyrically Aaron can kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I think that song is all about no matter what, you can persist if you choose to persist, and I think that understanding that you have that choice to make is empowering. So it was the perfect kind of way to put a capstone on the record.
And that's our new album, Earthandsky.
Check it out.
Yeah,
Comes out
listen to
September
it. Dive right
27th.
in. Too, and I just want to say something while we're talking about it. We spent a lot of time really developing the album artwork too. So if you're listening to this album and you're enjoying streaming it and you love the songs, you need to buy the album and open it up. It's a treasure chest.
There's so much other stuff that goes with it.
And it does, like, visually, and there's going to be more music videos coming too. And don't worry, visual stimulation is there too. But honestly, like, we dove really, really deep into making sure that there's that everything kind of, like, you're gonna connect the dots, you know what I'm saying? And so pick it up if you're enjoying it that much, and dive into this realm and atmosphere that we've created in this album, and hope that you enjoy it, and keep listening.